Today's sponsor is Audible.com, who has more than 180,000 audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at www.audibletrial.com/shark. Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies, Films, and Flicks. I'm your host, John Lossoff. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Mark Hoffmeyer.
So, as you all know, John, I'm a licensed psychiatrist.
Yep.
And I had a really interesting case. Now, for the sake of, being classified, you got to protect your clients'
Right.
personal lives. I'm just gonna kind of give you a brief glimpse of what happened to me today. So I'm changing up the jobs and the names, but we'll just say this millionaire playboy sloth hunter.
Was it Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Well, he looked a lot like him. So a millionaire playboy sloth hunter.
Okay.
He got his face disfigured from a particularly dangerous sloth mission, and this pushed him into alcoholism and
Right. That's
excellent
understandable.
relationships and his disfigured face, and then he breaks up with the love of his life, right?
Yeah.
And then he starts seeing weird things and does all this. And then he goes, hey, man, I was clinically frozen for 150 years. And I was like, you were clinically frozen 150 years? He goes, yeah. I'm like, how is that possible? That's like the 1800s. And he goes, you're telling me. And so we just sat there, and it was odd. It was very odd. But, it was a good story.
That's, wow. How much do you charge per hour?
Well, I can't say that's classified, but I will say that he ate all my little chocolates I had in the bin in front of him. I don't know why he did it.
Wow. So can I take any guesses to who this millionaire playboy sloth hunter was?
Sure.
Okay. Was it Tom Cruise?
Maybe.
Maybe?
I gotta protect the confidentiality, guys.
All right. John Lemongood, what are your guesses to who Mark's mystery client was?
I guessed it right away. I knew where he was going.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking of Hannibal Lecter, and then I realized, wait a minute, he's not talking about the psychiatrist that worked at Hannibal Lecter's psychiatric hospital. No. He's Kurt Russelling, so I honed right in on it.
Okay. So it was Kurt Russell.
It's totally Kurt Russell.
It was me.
What?
Yeah, I'm a licensed psychiatrist.
No. Your client was Kurt Russell.
No, my client.
No, the client was Tom.
Oh.
Hey guys, we're entering a wormhole here.
Yeah.
Are we frozen right now? That's the big question.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's summer in Florida right now, so I definitely don't feel frozen.
So
In fact, I feel the opposite. I feel the opposite, actually.
Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man or Sylvester Stallone.
If this is your first time listening to the podcast, you're probably wondering what the hell is going on right now. And honestly, I ask myself that every time a podcast starts. Like, what is going on right now? I have no idea. I do know.
A sufficient answer to that, we'd have to pay a psychiatrist to actually listen to the first 18 episodes of our podcast just to classify our mania.
I feel like I feel like the psychiatrist would just quit halfway through and just have a career change. Like, nope, never mind. I don't
they get paid their hourly rate for every podcast.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they would actually quit. if they had to, it's just no, I can't figure these guys out. There's no way.
Viva la Kurt Russell.
Yeah. All right. So I may not know what's going on, but I do know that we start every podcast off with listener questions.
Hey, wait, you didn't introduce Lemongood.
I did. Wait.
No.
I
you
did.
Got lost in a minute. It's cool because you know what? Not only did you forget to introduce me, but I had a little joke bit lined up, and when I just started giggling at Mark's opening, I've totally lost it. I had it in my head, and it's totally gone. I got lost in that mania too.
I'm pretty sure I introduced you, John Lemongood, but in case I didn't, John Lemongood, say hi to our audience, and also, what are our questions this week?
How's it going, folks? I made my call out to Twitter. I asked for some listener questions, and the Twitterverse has responded. So our first question comes from a regular listener and regular question contributor, Gray at the Dark Hours on Twitter. And Gray the Dark Hours asks, who would win in a battle between the Ghoulies and the Critters?
Hold on, wait. Before anybody answers that, what are the Ghoulies and what are the Critters?
All right, so The Ghoulies is a franchise that had 4 movies in it. It started in 1985, and they were these little tiny, like, demon Muppets that were summoned from hell to do someone's evil bidding. And they're slimy, and they all look different, and they're like 6 or 8 inches tall.
And they had 6 packs.
And they had 6 packs, that's right. They had little muscles, except for the one, like, weird fat one that actually looked kind of like a ghoulie and a critter had a baby. And then the Critters are actually furry, alien, circular puppet monsters that come from outer space. They lay eggs. They roll around because they're round like Sonic the Hedgehog. They were rolling before Sonic, and they shoot little quills from the top of their head to attack you if they don't just bite you when they're swarming all over you. And they're all little evil creatures. So evil aliens, evil demonlings.
Critters are like if a boll weevil mated with a Furby.
Oh, okay. So you put it
and
that
had 3 rows of teeth.
All right. So wait, these are they're kind of like they kind of part of that Gremlins trend like during the 80s.
Oh yeah, well they said that the script for Critters, Ghoulies, whatever came before Gremlins.
Did it?
Yeah, but I mean they probably got greenlit because of Gremlins.
Okay.
But here's what I'm gonna say: Critters have little T-Rex arms, right? They're little arms. They're just little dangly things. But Ghoulies, man, they're all 6-packed up. They're ripped. They got long arms. Like if you watch Jurassic World, then Dominus Rex was whooping up on the T-Rex before those 3 other creatures, spoiler alert, jumped in and saved the day. So I'm thinking Ghoulies have nice long arms. I think in a one-on-one fight they'll dodge those little spikes that little roly punk does, and I think the Ghoulie wins by rear naked choke.
Wait, so if we're talking in this hypothetical situation, is it one-on-one or is it just like a mob versus mob situation here?
It's Ghoulies plural, like Ghoulies of the movie versus Critters. I'm going to take it as.
Yeah, but there goes up to like 100 critters.
Okay.
There are a lot of critters.
Like they form a giant ball in the second one and just run people over.
That was so cool too. And by the way, it was either the first or the second one that was Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie.
Yeah, and then in the preview, there's a scene where this female bunny hunter shoots like a rocket launcher, and she shoots the top of a critter's like scalp, but like he misses the skin and just takes off all the hair. So there's like a critter with a little bald spot running around. But I'm going with Ghoulies. They got arms and they got like 6-pack abs, and they're rough and tumble. I think that they could outmaneuver, outsmart. They're demonic little creatures. They're not jerky little fur balls from space. So I'm going Ghoulies.
All right.
John, are you able to weigh in on this?
Okay. So I think in a one-on-one situation, like if you put like one Ghoulie and one critter in like the middle of a UFC octagon, like I go with a Ghoulie. I feel like a Ghoulie could probably just overwhelm a critter. But I think like in a mob versus mob situation, I think the critters might be able to overwhelm the Ghoulies. Because didn't you say they just kind of like roll around a little bit?
Yeah, they roll around, but they're also like they're morphologically built like Pac-Man kind of, because they're almost 80% mouth.
Right.
Like they're like a mouth with little arms and little stubby legs, and they roll around. And they can shoot little darts from their head that put you to sleep.
Yeah. I feel like if there were like a bunch of the critters, I feel like their unique abilities would be able to combine, would be able to take out the Ghoulies. But in an octagon, I'd pick the Ghoulies.
Yeah, because the Ghoulies couldn't use their spikes.
Yeah.
That'd be illegal. It'd be a fair fight.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, but the critter is round, so you couldn't use a rear naked choke. You can't choke something shaped like a bowling ball.
The Ghoulie could figure it out.
Yeah.
The Ghoulie would figure it out. It's from hell. I mean, they can figure out how to hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So my answer comes more thinking about like their origins that we discover in the movies. So I think that if this was a long-term war, like I mean like race against race, the ghoulie kind versus critter kind, I think that critters would ultimately win because we know that the critters can reproduce. They come from outer space. They actually have technology. They'll eventually have time to reconnoiter it. They'll get it. They'll eventually win. So they obviously are smart too to some extent because they build spaceships to come to Earth. And they can reproduce. But
How? With their little arms? They must have like a civilization they've conquered with arms.
they do it. I don't know how, but they do it. Maybe they enslaved another race, but they do it.
I mean,
but the thing is that if it was like impromptu, like they just like suddenly their worlds met. Well, the ghoulies, they are. And this is why I go with critters instead of ghoulies. The ghoulies were summoned. They had to be summoned from hell or some dark plane of existence. And when they were summoned, their master presumably made a sacrifice to summon as many ghoulies as he needed. So, like, if they knew that they were going to war, I think it would be too tough to summon enough demons while the critters are flying spaceships and reproducing and coming in big numbers. But if it was right on the fly, I think that it's because the demon guy probably summoned them for this task, and he would have thought ahead and summoned way more, of these ghoulies than just like the 3 we see in the first movie. And then I think, because that they kind of ambush them and they know what was going on. I think it depends on if it's a long or short-term battle.
You gave me a pretty good visual here. You're like, they're flying in a spaceship. They're reproducing. What is
They are. They got eggs. Because at the end of the first critters, that you find eggs.
There's listen to Van Halen.
Yeah. Look, I feel like you put more thought into your answer than the filmmakers did, like actually making the movies.
What are the ghoulies doing when they're not summoned? Are they like in a waiting room? Are they just like, do they have pagers that say they're on standby?
I imagine that they're tormenting the souls of sinners who have long passed and gone to hell.
They're riding
Are
their
they just practicing
ATVs.
like wrestling moves on critters? Are they training to fight the critters by tormenting?
I like to think they're just riding their ATVs off road. It's like riding through the mud. And then like they get like a little beep beep on their pager.
Off Hell Road.
Yeah, they get a little beep beep on their pager. It's like, hey, bro, we gotta go. Yeah, all right, let's go.
He's got some like southerner motorcyclists.
Yeah,
Like the ghoulies have their little Confederate flag.
Just jerks.
And
jerks. Hey man, we gotta go towards.
All right.
We gotta go find some critters. All right, I think we slightly answered that.
yeah,
That's we slightly answered it a whole lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
So our second question, also from Twitter, comes from another returning listener question provider, Demon Scribblers from Twitter, and they ask, if there's a Nightmare on Elm Street, what happens when people move? Nightmare free?
I mean, you never hear about people on Spruce Street having a bad time.
That's true.
Well, don't forget, though, we were talking about Jason Voorhees and why he doesn't die, and we were kind of talking about Camp Crystal Lake and listener questions in the last numerous episodes. And at one point, we acknowledged that Freddy versus Jason, that takes place when they're rebuilding Camp Crystal Lake.
So Freddy
That's
doesn't.
not on Elm Street.
Freddy's
Oh, yeah.
jurisdiction, so to speak, it's not exclusive to Elm Street. Like he can basically just go wherever
Like
he wants.
his hellish horror movie Torment has a precinct, and we just don't know the limits to it.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like living next to a volcano. Like if you're on
Okay.
Elm Street, you know Freddy can travel, but why live on Elm Street? Like that's his stomping ground.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I'm going to live next to this polar bear, polar bear population in a tent. Like, they might get you, they might not, but there's a better chance of it.
Right.
So here's something I don't remember from Freddy versus Jason. Were the kids, when they were at the rebuilding of Camp Crystal Lake, did Freddy follow them there from Elm Street? Like, in other words, these kids that he's following, they are still residents of Elm Street, even though they are not physically on Elm Street at the time. So maybe that's why he can get them there.
Ooh, loophole. Because I remember
Like
him,
maybe that's why he could leave.
he was on. Didn't he kill a guy in a cornfield in Freddy vs. Jason? Oh no, Jason killed a guy in a cornfield in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, that was how it opened.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, like, I'm wondering about this because normally, like, these Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I mean, they're not super fresh in my head, but really, from typically in any of these movies, the first kid dies. And then, a few days pass at school, maybe even a week, but no one really knows what's going on until another person dies, and it goes from a faint theory in the protagonist's head to knowing kind of what's going on. And then it's really just over the course of 2 or 3 adjacent, consecutive nights that these kids, kind of rally together, develop strategies, try not to sleep, try to overcome Freddy. So really, it's like these movies take place over a time span of a week, and like really the meat of it, when they know what they're doing, is less than that.
Right.
So there's really no time to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you have to have a lease? Do you have to have a signed lease for Freddy not to be able to bother you if moving gets you out of it?
Do you ever think
do you need does it need to be notarized?
Like, imagine the guy who like moves to Spruce Street, which is like the street over from Elm Street, and then he just kind of sees Freddy and does a little dance, like, hey, hey, hey. And then like Freddy gets like it rezoned just to where it's Elm Street. Like,
My question
And
is,
this brings me to something else. That Heather Langenkamp, right, from the first 2 movies, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So she lived on Elm Street. But are we assuming that every single one of those kids in all those Freddy movies all lived on the same street, or just in that neighborhood?
maybe it was a big drag.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a really long street.
yeah. What I want to know is like the real estate agent working Elm Street. Like, does he know like what's going on?
Oh, what a
It's
jerk.
like, what if like he didn't know and he was just like, man, why do people keep like dying on the street? I don't know, but I keep having to sell the same houses like every 3 months.
Listen, guys, I will give you this house.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just tired of paying the property taxes, really. Like, you can have it.
Yeah.
So I guess if you lived on Elm Street, it can follow you, because it did follow her in Freddy's New Nightmare. So it's like the It Follows ghost, where if you did live there, like, you're always Elm Street for life. So he can kind of get like, he can kind of follow you around if you are from Elm Street.
So it's really pulling a Game of Thrones here. It's really just following the royal lineage. Like, it goes all the way back from the parents that burned them, and then I guess like in part 4, they're like the 3rd cousins, 4th removed from like some distant cousin or something who was a part of the Freddy burning in part 1, right? Like, so it's just, so if that's the case, right? If it's just linked to all these relatives of people from the original parental burning of Freddy Krueger on Elm Street, then is there a way to become nightmare-free without actually defeating Freddy Krueger? And we'll assume that you sleep. We'll assume that you still sleep.
Ambien? I don't know.
I feel like Ambien would be a death sentence.
Well, what about like Insidious 3, where they make you forget about your stuff? What if you did that?
Like, I don't know, because Freddy came into existence in Wes Craven's New Nightmare just because people believed in him.
Yeah. Well,
So
what
if
if
people
what if you just drink Red Bull like every 3 hours?
Which I do during all of our podcasts.
There you
Today's flavor is orange.
Orange. I don't think I've had that one yet. Hold on, let me
Orange
guess.
edition.
That tastes like orange.
And it's total 0.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think you'd have a pretty good week, and then your heart would explode. So he wouldn't get you then. So that's a positive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you had a choice between dying from Freddy Krueger or dying from Red Bull, I think most people would go with Red Bull.
I mean, you're probably going to go down like extreme kayaking while skydiving on a surfboard.
Yeah.
So it occurs to me, all these kids, even though sometimes like there's a bully and a nerd and a preppy person, and they all end up coming together like it's the Breakfast Club to try and fight Freddy, But like, what about the gang of kids that don't all get along? Like, what if the jerk was like, yo, Freddy, I get that you want to kill me right now in my dream, but what if I drug these kids with sleeping pills and I will keep bringing you souls and you just let me live and, send me naked ladies and no murder in my dreams? Like, why has no one ever tried to... There's got to be bad people also being hunted by Freddy. So Why doesn't anyone ever try and bargain with Freddy?
I think Freddy likes the game. Like, I think that would be too easy for him. You know, like, he likes to be a jerk and scratch his claws on walls and put people in boiler rooms and do all that kind of junk. I don't think he'd like that guy who did that.
But no one's even tried. It's shocking to me that no one has tried. I get your point very much, but I imagine that the person would try and then he'd torture them using that somehow as a theme, but no one has even tried. Everyone's all like, I'm a jerk jock who makes fun of nerds, and you're a nerd, but we need to band together and fight Freddy. Since when? Like, why doesn't the jerk just be like, I'm all for myself right now. You all get out of my life. Like, what?
I think
I think
if they made a modern, or at least a more recent, because I know they had the remake, but they did like another Nightmare on Elm Street movie, that could be a very possible plot idea. Because what you're saying, it just seems like a more recent kind of theme of like horror movies where, like, you know, the character tries to bargain with the antagonist of these horror movies. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's like Biff from Back to the Future met Freddy, tried to strike a deal.
Yeah.
It's the classic Faustian tale, striking a deal with the devil. I mean,
Yeah, but what about the scorpion and the frog? You know, the scorpion's going to sting you.
Yeah.
did you just go Aesop? Or
Yeah,
is
that's
that...
right. That's right. Oh wait, that's not from Drive. No, I'm joking. Or like if you go Roach from Demon Knight, he ate it pretty good.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like you don't make deals with Billy Zane.
That's right.
So I think we slightly answered it to the extreme.
Right. So we
We mostly slightly answered that.
yeah, we mostly slightly answered those questions for now. Thanks again to those Twitter users. Thanks again, John Lemongood, for handling those questions. That was a pretty good segment. And now,
If I don't mind saying so myself.
yeah. Hey, I'm complimenting you. Yeah. Mark, I believe you have our topic for this week, right?
I do. So if you've been reading movies, films, and flicks for some time or listening to the podcast, you know that we're big fans of, I mean, pretty much any type of cinema, but we do love our action. And recently we just had, like, who's the baddest character of this decade so far, action movie character, and Rama from The Raid won out. I mean, we've discussed the best action supporting characters. I mean, John loves Scott Adkins, the direct-to-DVD hero, who's great at triple spin kicks, flip kicks, double kicks, axe kicks, all in one. You know, I love The Raid. I love, you know, we champion action. And so I wrote a post that's called 15 Photos for 15 Years of Action Films. And so I realized that these 15 photos won't be for everyone. These are just moments that I love, moments that I appreciate, moments that have stuck out in my memory. And I realized that there have been about, 300 action films since 2000. And then I realized that there's been probably the same amount of direct-to-DVD. So there's really no way to include everything. But I just want to kind of preface this by saying that these are my favorite. These are moments that stick out in my memory that maybe haven't gotten the right amount of love. And I just want to share them with the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are these coming to us in any particular order, or is this just like as they came to you?
We're going to start with 2000 and work our way up. And the first one I have is from Gladiator. It's where Juba and Maximus, Russell Crowe and Jaimin Hunsu, the first Gladiator fight. And I love the scene because it's just urgent, it's brutal, it's violent. It has a really cool narrative. And I like that it's a small fight scene that shows how badass two guys are and how great they work together. And the scene is their first Gladiator fight. Russell Crowe is chained to like a weakling. Jaimin Hunsu is chained to a weakling. They're fighting these really cool looking gladiators. They end up getting together at the end and they just whoop butt all over the place. And I think whenever I go to good action films, I always think back to Gladiator because Russell Crowe just embodied. I believed that he could win every fight that he ever entered. And I think, I know I love this scene. I think it's a fantastic action film.
I think what I love...
I think that this movie...
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead, John.
Oh, yeah. I think what I love about this scene is that it's the first scene you see Russell Crowe's character kind of show himself to be the leader that he is. You know, he's like in the middle of it with everybody else, but he's also like everybody's looking to him naturally because that's just who he is. And it was because of him that they were able to get through that. And it just sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It's basically how great of a leader Maximus is, juxtaposed against Joaquin Phoenix's character the supposed, new leader or the new emperor, Roman emperor.
And I love how Jaimin Hunsu was like such a good friend. Like he put that bug stuff in his wound. They fought together. They rolled deep. Like it just was like the beginning of a very great friendship. And it was just such a like an R-rated violent scene. I mean, people get wiped out in Gladiator, and it's fun with Russell Crowe. Like that Man of Steel. I hate that movie, but there's a scene where he's riding a lizard, and I actually believed it. Like I believe Russell Crowe actually fried a dragon. I do. I think if there were dragons, Russell Crowe would be on it right now with a Foster's. Well, let's not say Australian, with like a Budweiser in his hand, and just flying around, going, punching people. The dragon would swoop down, he'd lean over it and just pop a guy really good in the face and fly back up, and I'd be like, I believe it. In this movie, you believe Jaimin Hunsu. And I think that's what makes it such a good action film is you don't feel like it's just these actors acting, and obviously they are, but you just believe that these guys could walk into anywhere and beat up anybody. Like they could take out Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. If they walked into a bar and they were bouncing, Maximus and Juba would win.
So I think this movie is a perfect choice for its year and for 15 years. But when I first saw Gladiator, a different scene came to mind, what I thought was equally powerful. When they were going to execute Maximus, and it was cold, and they're out on horseback with the Emperor's guards. And when he resists, he starts fighting the guys and kicking their butts while he's chained up. And the one guy goes to get his sword and it's stuck. And he just looks at him with a calm face and says, "The frost. Sometimes it makes the blade stick." And then he kills him. And another guy gets on his horse and starts to run away. And Maximus, with his hands still chained together, picks up a sword, throws it, and kills that dude by hitting him in the back while he's on the sword. While he's on the horse. Like that scene for me, even though like he wasn't fighting, like he kind of ambushed them while they were trying to kill him. So it wasn't like a one-on-one or even a one-on-many fight. He kind of had the upper hand in a weird way.
Yeah,
but man, he was so tough. And again, I bought it all. Just
that's Maximus. Like he had his hands tied together, but the guys were out of their league. Like that's awesome. Like the guy.
But he said it so casually, just like, "Yep, it's a hazard of war. Sometimes the frost makes the blade stick."
It happened to Earl last year.
Yeah, poor Earl.
They were fighting some tribe, and they were taking their land, and poor Earl's sword stuck.
Earl's got one leg now.
Yeah. He doesn't like when people bring it up.
Earl's a cavalryman now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So am I to understand that we will move from 2000 to 2001?
Yep, so we're at 2001 right now, and we're at the Bourne Identity. And I will always remember this film because it happened after it came into Lesbeth, you were working with me. It went into theaters after 9/11.
Yeah.
And nobody was ever in the theater, so our job, nobody was ever there. Like we would use one trash can all day for all theaters, and so I would go in and watch like Behind Enemy Lines and Bourne Identity nonstop because there's really nothing to do. So I almost put Behind Enemy Lines, but I put Bourne Identity, and I did it the scene where it's Clive Owens has a bad day, and there's this scene where Matt Damon's in this farmhouse and he senses that there's a sniper coming at him, so he blows up a propane tank. He takes an old gun, blows up a propane tank, saunters through the woods, shoots in the air so birds fly away, sneaks up on a master assassin and just wipes him out. Like it's just like so casual. He and it just showed like. And what I love about it is he doesn't know his skills, but you see this scene and it shows you how good he is. And I like that. I don't like being told. I like being shown. And I think this scene is just a perfect small scale, smooth encapsulation of a character. And that's why this movie people love.
It's so funny that you say you want to be shown and not told, because I think of all these like direct-to-DVD action movies or the sci-fi movie of the weeks with Stephen Baldwin starring, and they're like, before the star of the show, the hero, even steps on the screen, someone's like talking about calling him in to save the day. They're like, "He's a 9th degree black belt and a Green Beret. He saved my life 8 times." And like he has a PhD in nuclear physics and he arm wrestled Godzilla. Like they're just listing his resume of nonsense. And yeah, Matt Damon, like you said, like he just does it. When he was running out in that field and he shot the shotgun in the air, like he just did it like it was as natural as blinking. He didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Like, and he did it mid-trot. Like, if you blinked and you missed it, you wouldn't even see that he did it.
It's just, yeah, I love it. It's efficient. It's small scale. It's not bombastic. And I think it told you exactly who the character was. And I love that.
I think for me, the most memorable scene from this movie is also probably one of my favorite fight scenes in all of the franchise. When he was fighting the assassin with a pen.
That was Scott Adkins, by the way.
Oh, was it?
What?
Yeah. It just
he had bleached blonde hair and facial hair, and
Yeah.
he stabs him in the hand, like straight down the carpal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Scott Adkins.
Oh, and wow.
I love that fight. It just encapsulates his character so well. Like, you know, like Jason Bourne, like he's just a trained assassin, and like obviously he'll beat you with his fist, but he can beat you with anything else too. In this case, a pen. He takes out an equally dangerous assassin with just a pen. I always thought that was hilarious, but the way it was choreographed, the way it was shot, it was just one of my favorite fight scenes of all time. Really.
Yeah. What I love about the movie, it was just small. It was a small, smart action film, and I loved it. I love that fight scene that you said. I almost put that on here, but I just loved how efficient. You know, he made badass Clive Owens look like a dork.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, when you can do that to Clive Owen, then you got to make this list.
I just remember that movie coming out of nowhere when it first came out in theaters, and it was like, whoa, you know, Matt Damon's a badass in this movie. I'm like, really? Matt Damon? You talking about Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon?
How you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
Yeah, I mean, and he did. And you know what I liked? You guys have heard this from me millions of times, but he didn't play tough.
No.
Like, he just was.
Yeah. He was just
I love
Matt
that.
Damon, kind of.
You know, he was just practical. He was scared, but he didn't let his fear get over him. But he was a scared guy doing what he had to do to survive.
Yeah. And I think that's why the character really resonated, because they were learning with him. And I think that's really important sometimes in action films.
Yeah. Plus, it also gave Julia Stiles something to do. Because apparently she only does, like, Bourne movies these days.
Yep. She's going to be in the fourth one with him.
Really?
Yeah, she's
Why am I
back
not surprised?
Yeah. So we went from subtle to not subtle. So Lazvath, play with me. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Jason Statham flying kick.
Ow!
So 2002 is The Transporter, and it's the door kick from hell. I love the first Transporter. I love. I don't like the second one. I don't like the third one. I actually think it's been bad for Statham's career, because like he in every movie now he has to play like a suit wearing, you know, svelte guy who always gets the ladies, kicks butt, and doesn't talk much. But it hasn't worked as well as it did in the first Transporter. But there's a scene where there's this goon, right? And he hears this doorbell ring, and he just saunters up to the door. You know, he's like, I'm going to look through the people. And when he looks through, Statham comes through with a flying kick that kicks the door in and smushes the guy. And it's like the perfect trailer moment. It's actually like, you know, it's not that scene in a Transporter where Statham's completely covered in oil, and he's just like sliding around all over the place where people are trying to squish him. And I just loved it. I think it, and you know what? It is bombastic. It's crazy, but it also shows us his character. Like, he can time it. He knows exactly when Euro trash goons are going to look through a door hole.
Yeah, I don't know. This is Statham's breakout role too, right?
Well, he had Snatch and Lock, Stock, but he wasn't like an action star. Like, I think he'd done Ghosts of Mars already, but he wasn't like a full-blown action star quite yet.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of known as like the smarmy guy from Guy Ritchie films, but this kind of elevated into like Jason Statham is now my spirit animal territory.
Right.
You know, in the article, you refer to this as a great trailer moment, and it's almost like I almost want to think that the director envisioned this scene before he even like got someone to pen the scripts.
Yeah.
Like, it's so brilliantly characteristic. But like, you know, I imagine Statham has his combat tactics down. I think that, you know, he figured knock on the door, walk back for 10 seconds, run up for 5 seconds. They're paid goons here. Someone's going to be at the door quickly. They're going to look through. And if they're not at the door, they're going to be near the door, and they're going to be shocked. And I'll have the door down, and they'll be shocked, and I'll still be able to kick their butts. Like, I just think he got lucky with the guy looking through the peephole, but everything does seem to work out just perfectly for Statham in the transporter.
You gave me a visual in my head where like picture Levingood, right? Levingood is, you're what, 6'1", 2?
I'm 6'3".
6'3", 240.
Ah, no, I'm a little sleeker now. I'm like 230.
All right, so he's 6'3", 230, just sitting there eating like a hoagie from Shevetsky's. And he's sitting in a chair, and a door gets kicked in, which Statham flies through, and you're like mid sip on like a Pepsi, and you just get like and you just start totally surprised, and you catch like a spin kick from Statham. Like, what would you do if you're sitting there? You're a goon, Levingood, and you're sitting in a chair eating a hoagie and drinking a Pepsi, and this door gets kicked in by a svelte British man in a suit.
I think I would just bruise and bleed and choke on my sandwich.
Just wondering what the hell just happened. Honestly. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, that's fine.
Honestly, I don't really remember much from Transporter 1, or basically just most of the franchise. I've seen all the movies, but one scene just always stuck with me, and it wasn't from the first Transporter, it was from the second Transporter. At one point in the movie, Jason Statham realized there's a bomb underneath his car. So, like most people do, he decides to just drive the car off a ramp at an angle so that way it flips. And as it's flipping, there's like a crane. So like the crane just kind of snatches the car bomb from underneath the car. And then after the crane like snatches the bomb, Statham lands the car perfectly. And just drives away.
Oh, dude, I'll bet that if Vin Diesel, and I mean Vin Diesel as Dom from from Furious 7, not from the first movies, but from Part 7, where things were absolutely cartoon Super Saiyan bonkers, like Dragon Ball Z bonkers, even he would look at that and be like, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even they weren't pulling those stunts. They're, all their shit that they're doing with dropping cars out of planes, landing perfectly, huge jumps with cars, all these crazy stunts, leaping from cars and saving people. All that, even with all that in mind, he'd be like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, he's in the theater going, yeah, that would never happen.
Like, even though the Fast and Furious movies get even more and more, like, exponentially bonkers as they go on, that would be like Furiouser 12 is when they get that crazy to be able to do that, or like Furious 14,
just
Yeah.
furious.
So Transporter 2 is the equivalent of the 14th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Fastester 24.
Okay.
I love that. Transporter 2 is the equivalent of Faster 24.
Yeah.
I love it. So the next one we have from 2003 is I've entitled it McNugget, and it's from Reign of Fire. And this is a movie about a post-apocalyptic world where dragons are running amok, and Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey have to fight it. And so he jumped, so this was his hero moment, right? He climbs to the top of a tower to make a distraction for a dragon, right?
McConaughey.
Yeah, McConaughey. So he climbs off 50 feet, and he jumps off a ledge and prepares to kill the jerky demon. However, he's eaten like immediately. So like, here's this big hero moment. Please go to the website and look at this post. And there's a little clip I have of it. And how far do you think he jumps, guys? We've talked about
that's like a good 20, 30 feet from a standstill.
He jumps 20 feet out from a standstill with probably a 45-pound axe, swings the axe back, and immediately gets eaten by a dragon. So I remember sitting in a theater and just going, huh? And then just like smiling, so big.
That was like tossing a chicken nugget to a pit bull.
Yeah. Like, I feel like in Faster 24, the Transporter 37, Jason Statham would have driven a car into the dragon's face and killed the dragon and landed perfectly. But McConaughey was, he was cool enough to just be like, here's a hero moment. I'm gonna kill a dragon. I get eaten. Like, and that's what would happen. Like, it's actually realism in a dragon movie, and I just think the scene's so funny.
You know what? Because this is the first movie, that's why he got eaten. Because in Fast and the Furious, Remember they had all that trouble with that, random trucker with the shotgun. We've talked about this before. All these people, all these criminals who've been criminals for life are having all this difficulty with one trucker with a shotgun, and it almost kills them all, right? But this is a first movie. So McConaughey jumps. He was an expendable cast member. He got eaten, right? But if this was not Reign of Fire, what if this was Reignest of the Firier, Part 46? Well, he would have leapt at the dragon and then paused time like Trinity in The Matrix, and then he would have gone all Goku Dragon Ball Z and punched him like 89 times while the dragon was frozen in time, and then he'd skin the dragon, wear it as a suit, and then when the dragon's corpse landed, he'd be wearing a cloak of dragon skin. So, it's like, but that's what happens in the Fast and the Furious movies. If this was Reign of Fire Part 7, it would have gone differently.
You know what? You gave me a visual. And Lazarus, one time we were talking about Beowulf, and you love that scene where Beowulf got swallowed by a beast, and then he chopped his way out, and then stood on top of the beast and went, Beowulf!
No, he got swallowed by I think it was a Leviathan, like some huge sea creature, and then all of a sudden, Beowulf literally burst out of his eye, his eyeball, and he just screams Beowulf, and that was just it's so hilarious, but it's so awesome.
Yeah, so in Reign of Fire 14, McConaughey would have busted out of the eyeball and stood on top of the dragon and gone, McConaughey! And everyone would be like, what? That's not the name of his character, but he would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
And in Reign of Fire 15, he would have swallowed the dragon in midair.
I did not see that coming.
He burped some fire.
In Reign of Fire 16, the dragon has a McConaughey face and he eats Christian Bale.
McConaughey of fire. So, oh gosh, fire bale. No, that doesn't make sense. But
a bale of fiery hay.
I get it.
A bale of fiery hay.
So Christian Bale would be riding a fiery bale of hay that was catapulted into the dragon's mouth. But so the next one is so I'm going to Fast and Furious, guys, and I'm going to Too Fast, Too Furious. And right now, this is where a lot of people are going to be like, "Man, how is this making your moments of the 15 best moments of the last 15 years?" And what I love about this scene is it's before that they were going crazy, skydiving out of cars. Here's a little fight scene between my favorite duo of the Fast series, Paul Walker and Tyrese. And I just love that. Too Fast and Furious is like the low-stakes story of two men stealing from a minor league drug kingpin. But it's just such a funny little movie. But I love the scene where Paul Walker recruits Tyrese, and they have some problems dating back from the past, going back to prison and all that. And they have this pretty cool little fight scene where Paul Walker kind of knows that Tyrese wants to fight him, so he just kind of stands there and goes, "Hey, let's do it." And I respect that. The two get into a good brawl. They roll around for a little bit. Tyrese hits harder. Paul Walker uses a good guillotine choke. He uses some jujitsu. And at the end of it, Paul Walker, it's kind of a standstill. Then Paul Walker goes, "You still fight like shit, bro." And they're dusting each other off. And no, I love it. I think it's funny. It's believable. It tells us everything we need to know about the characters. There's a backstory. You can tell even as they're fighting, they're still kind of buds. And
it's such a bro moment. I love it. It's so unabashedly just machismo bro moment. It's a scene that you would never see in the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, and they both look silly. They both get they're you can tell they're good friends and they're reluctantly doing it, but it sort of has to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
but I like that smack each other when they're fighting.
What I love about this is that it just sets the tone of their relationship for the rest of the movies that they're in. They're basically brothers, and they got into a little brotherly scuffle. They're throwing punches, but at the end of the day, they still love each other.
Yeah, exactly. They go, they're hungry, so they go get some Coronas and some tacos, and they make up. But no, I just love it. I love this fight scene, and we've talked about this on our Fast and Furious pod. Listen to it; it's wonderful. And no, I like these two characters. I like their brotherhood. I think they keep the films grounded, and I love this fight scene.
Okay, for one, on the negative side, I would never have put this anywhere in my list. Never. I would sooner pick the jiu-jitsu-ish fight between Arnold Schwarzenegger and that drug dealer in The Last Stand. But that said, I would use this, and I am challenging you now to write an article called 15 Photos for 15 Years of Bros of Film. and this can go right in your 2004.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, it's a bro fight. And listen, guys, my list is eclectic, but, you know, like, I don't know, I have more fun coming up with eclectic stuff that I love than doing, like, a stock list. So, you know, I knew there'd be some detractors on this, and I totally get it. I just love that scene. But the next one, I think, is random. You might not think I added in it. You know, you might have even forgotten about this fight scene. But we've been talking about The Rock lately, and this is when The Rock meets the rebels in the rundown. And it's just this, like, chaotic, inventive, bonkers, gravity-defying scene. It's just like a glee-filled free-for-all. Like, I just love it. Like, it uses the settings well. It's funny. It establishes The Rock well. He gets beat up by these I don't know, what are they, rebels? In where are they at? Brazil?
Yeah, they're in Brazil, so they're doing capoeira.
Yeah, so, like, you know, they're flying all over the place. The wires are kind of masked by the vines. People are flying everywhere. But it's fun. Like, it's Peter Berg, the director. It's The Rock. It's Sean William Scott. It's just fun. And very rarely in action films nowadays, and even The Rock so much. Well, I liked it in Hercules, but action can be fun. And this scene was really fun. And I enjoyed it. And that's why this is, like, my favorite Rock film, because it's cheeky, it's fun, and I think the scene is executed brilliantly. It made me think about Surf Ninjas.
Yeah.
And no, I love it. I love this scene.
No,
So-
go ahead, Loving Good.
I was just going to say, so I absolutely love this fight scene as well. And there's another fight scene that I think is just as good, but it feels like it would come from a totally different movie. And that's the opening fight sequence when The Rock takes out a whole offensive line of a football team at a club. But and now for me, I kind of lean towards that one because it's technically a little better. It's not as much of a wire work circus, but they're both equally good for different kind of entertainment objectives. But I just thought it was interesting that in the same movie, you have this one fight that seems so technically crisp with no wire work whatsoever and a lot of heavy hits that you almost see and feel. And then you've got this other fight that we're talking about with Ernie Reyes as the rebel and all his band of rebels. And that's just wires for days and, you know, jumping and flipping and kicking and hitting people like 50 feet instead of hitting people for 5 inches. So it's like it's funny to me they're in the same movie, but I absolutely did.
I love both of them. I mean, they didn't seem like they belonged together, but I mean, someone put chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream together in one box, and everyone seemed to love it. And it's the same with this. These things are totally different flavors, and they just work. And I couldn't have been more thrilled. I love the fight you picked. I love the other fight. I love the Sean William Scott fight.
What's this over here? Is this your little friend? Do you know him? You want a little thunder or a little lightning? Thunder, lightning, thunder, lightning?
You know what's funny about Sean William Scott is that he gives a callback to one of his to another movie in this movie, and I think he did them both in the same year, or maybe they were just a year apart. Because when he says when The Rock is caught by the trap, he says, "Oh, look at you! You're like a little birdie up there. Oh, you're like a little birdie.
Oh, evolution.
Yeah, and it's referring to evolution. And I every time I see the movie, I smile when I think of that.
I love that movie. Orlando Jones and David Duchovny are fantastic in that film.
I miss Orlando Jones doing movies.
Yeah, I do too. I loved him. I loved him in Replacements. And we'll do a Orlando Jones hour next week.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite part of Rundown though is The Rock's character. Is that he's not like just like some tough dude. He's also like a dude who just wants to open up his own restaurant.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's like the best part of his character. Like he's a guy you don't want to cross, but at the same time, he's also like writing down recipes. Like every time he comes across like a really good dish, he's like, "Ooh, like what's the recipe for that?" It's like you're rooting for him to open up that restaurant. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be like the safest restaurant ever to go at. He needs to hire LL Cool J from Deep Blue Sea.
I want to smell what The Rock is cooking. Heyo.
It has porcini mushrooms in it.
Yes, it does.
You want some of his? Didn't he always say something about pie? You want some pie?
Yeah.
So the next one is Casino Royale, and I call it No Door, No Problem. And this is kind of a little moment, a tiny moment, little throwaway scene, not throwaway scene, but a little scene from Casino Royale that showed and didn't tell you. So in the opening scene, he's chasing down this guy who's basically a free runner. Not basically a free runner, he is a free runner. And so this guy jumps over a door and goes through a window. But instead of Bond jumping through the window or doing something, he just runs right through it. And so I love that. You know, in the past with Connery and I think Lazenby, next to Lazenby, he was probably like Daniel Craig's the most physical. I mean, Lazenby threw a great uppercut, but this showed that we had like a new Bond for a new era. And he just burst through that door, and you're like, whoa. I remember sitting in the theater and just going, whoa. And it was a huge hit. Casino Royale is a great film, but I just love that scene.
I loved it as the I love that opening scene because, you know, as you said, it establishes Daniel Craig as his own, like, a unique Bond. Because if you think about it, like that particular scene, which of the other Bond actors would have been able to do that? I can't really think of any of them besides Daniel Craig. Like, it's such a physical and visceral, like, chase scene. And the other Bonds, like, you know, maybe they were as physical, but it didn't have that visceral kind of quality that Daniel Craig brings to the character. And I think that scene just establishes that really well for Daniel Craig.
I mean, I think I would have liked to have seen George Lazenby plow through in a frilled, puffy shirt. Yeah. I think he maybe could have done it if it was like less thick wood. I think Connery maybe could have done it after like the fourth try, and he would have had a scotch and a cigarette in his mouth.
Hold on, young Sean Connery was in Mr. Universe in the 50s.
Yeah, but
he was a bodybuilder.
But Connery and Bond, though, he was like afraid of spiders and like, you know, he was physical, but he wasn't the most physical. And then I don't know. I think Roger Moore probably would have asked for help, or I don't think he would have even been up that high. He probably just would have, I don't know, said a cheeky one-liner and shot him with a laser.
Roger Moore would have like dislocated his shoulder and hit his life alert thing around his neck. I've fallen and I can't get up.
And then Dalton, I don't know. Dalton's just so little. Like I see Dalton.
The guy would have gotten away.
Yeah,
if it
and
was
then
Dalton.
Pierce Brosnan, I think, would have shot the door and hit through it. Like, I think he would have been smart enough to do that. But I think Daniel Craig's the only one to just plow through drywall.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan would have charmed that door down. So what? I thought it. You go ahead.
He fixes his hair, and then the door just goes, "Oh yeah, Pierce."
He flashes at some blue steel.
That's enough
I thought
foreplay.
of two things about this, and one of them is, again, we're going with a great kind of trailer moment with the door kick, kind of with Jason Statham. But two, Daniel Craig was a more convincing Juggernaut than Vinnie Jones was as the Juggernaut in X-Men. And that was the worst Juggernaut ever when he was knocking through walls. And then it even occurred to me more that Vinnie Jones, when he's not playing Juggernaut, is a more convincing Juggernaut than Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut. Like, if you just took him from Gone in 60 Seconds or Mean Machine, which was also with Jason Statham, by the way, or any of his other movies that he was in, I'd find it more credible that he was knocking through walls or doors than Juggernaut in the X-Men
I picture
Last Stand.
Vinnie Jones walking up to that door and just going, "F off." And then the door just falls down.
And then he gives it like a Cockney headbutt.
Hey guys.
And then after it falls down, he treats it like a bar fight and he starts kicking it like he's kicking a guy in the ribs.
Okay, guys. Here's a quick question: who would win in a door opening contest? Jason Statham or Daniel Craig? Wait, don't answer. I say we take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll find out who wins. How's about that?
Dun dun dun.
Ooh. Hey guys, John here to tell you about a special offer from Audible.com. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook of your choice and a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/shark and choose from over 180,000 audio titles. One title you can check out is The Martian, written by Andy Weir. The Martian tells the story of astronaut Mark Watney as he finds himself stranded all alone on the planet Mars. He refuses to give up, however, so he must use his ingenuity and engineering skills to survive. The Martian is also the basis of the upcoming Matt Damon movie with the same name. But why wait for Matt Damon when you can download the audiobook today? Just go to audibletrial.com/shark, sign up for your free 30-day trial, and enjoy your free audiobook today.
Hey, podcast listeners, this is Kyle from Word of the Bay.
And Nick.
And we're here to talk to you about Word of the Bay.
Yeah, Word of the Bay.
Yeah.
What is Word of the Bay?
Well, God, it's a Tampa Bay sports podcast. What is Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay is the Tampa area. St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater.
So we talk about sports and other things.
Which include Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Tampa Bay Rays.
And another Bay, which is slipping my mind.
Oh, I don't even know what that Bay is.
Hey guys, what are you guys talking about?
Nothing.
Hey, Jonathan. This is our third host, Jonathan.
Whoa, did I just walk in on something?
No, you're fine. But if you want to listen to Word of the Bay, go ahead and go to www.sharkdropper.com.
And check us out. Yeah.
Welcome back to MFF. All right, guys. Before we went to commercial break, I believe I posed a question. Who would win?
I believe you posed a great segue.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I think in our life as a podcast, that's the best segue. It was like organic and natural, and it was normally we just get off the rails a little bit, and you got to cut us off to get us back on track.
Let's be
That was
honest.
timed better than Jason Statham opening a bad guy's door.
Hey, let's be honest. That's probably never going to happen again.
Let's cherish it. Let's cherish it.
Let's just cherish it and just keep talking about it.
That's right. Let's have a moment of silence.
Yeah.
All right, good. So
No, I'm proud of myself. No, the question I asked was, who would win in a door kicking competition? Jason Statham from Transporter or Daniel Craig from Casino Royale?
I'm
You
giving
have
it to
like
Craig.
let's just say you have 30 minutes to kick open as many doors as possible. Like who would edge out
Like
the
it's
other?
the bonus round in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going Daniel Craig all the
Really?
way. Because
Really?
I mean, the kicking, I don't know. The kicking, it seems slow, and he I don't know. I think just running through it. I think Daniel Craig will just juggernaut through doors.
Yeah, plus Jason Statham, I think he needs a running start. Right.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
knowing Jason Statham would probably be covered in oil, so it'd be slipping all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like by the time Jason Statham's getting ready to kick open his third door, Daniel Craig has already run through 25.
And there's just a silhouette of Daniel Craig,
Yeah.
like
Through
Looney
each door.
Tunes.
Yeah, I got to stick with Daniel Craig there. I mean, if spin kicks were involved, it's got to go to Statham. But when you take them out of play, now it's all Craig.
Yeah. All right. All
So
right.
John, put it in your file cabinet. Have you rebuilt your file cabinet?
No. My
Oh.
everything is just scattered here.
Then just jot a note and throw it on the floor.
That's what I've been doing. All right. So we answered my question. Good. I think we have another listener question to slightly answer, right?
Yes, this week I have a second question from my Twitter follower and fellow listener, Demon Scribblers. And the question is, just how many final destinations will it take to finally get there?
So the Final Destination series has been a roller coaster for me, very much like the third film. And so the first one I loved. I had a great time with it. The second one, I don't know. It was a lot of people love it, but I just thought it was okay. So I'm like, Final Destination 2, blah blah blah, it's lame. Then Final Destination 3 came out, and I really liked it. Aside from that tanning bed scene, that was gross. And then the fourth one came out, and I'm like, this should be the Final Destination.
The fourth one was garbage.
Yeah, I was like, no more destinations, guys, stop. And then the fifth one was awesome. It was like a perfect drive-in movie. So I guess as long as they keep making good Final Destinations, I'm willing to not be such a, go the obvious route and go, why is there 5 Final Destinations? So as long as they keep making good ones, I'm down to keep watching.
You think by the time they were making the fourth one, it was they were kind of regretting calling it Final Destination?
Yeah.
It was like, oh man.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they ever had a moment's regret.
I think now they're trying to be like, yeah, that one didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
No, go
I
ahead.
like the first one too. The first one was more about plot and creepy plot based build up almost. The second one was ignoring that, and it was all about the kills, and so was the third, but they were still fun, but they started the time together. The fourth was garbage, and the fifth was just pinnacle. Outside of being the first movie like part one, I thought the fifth was beautiful, and I want more of that.
And the fifth one, didn't they know each other? I feel like the Final Destination movies are better when the group knows each other and they're not strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all going on a work retreat, like a trust fall kind of thing. They were going to go leave on a work retreat together. They all worked for the same company.
Yeah, see, I like that better when they're kind of in it together. Because wasn't the second one strangers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The second one was when there was the traffic accident, right? When they were with the tree trunks falling off, the lumber falling off the truck.
Yeah.
On the interstate.
I hate seeing those trucks, so I guess that was effective.
No,
I mean, my answer has got to be like 20 or 30.
Yeah.
I want 20 or 30 Final Destinations as long as they do well with the quality.
What about you, Lazvath?
I don't know. It's just I wouldn't mind seeing more Final Destinations. It's just how creative can they be with each installment? You know.
Yeah.
I feel like each
Hey,
installment.
you know what?
Go ahead.
You finish your thought.
I feel like each installment is just a race to top the previous movie. You know.
So I figured you were going there, and so the first one came out in 2000. After that, they released 4 more films by 2011. Well, now it's already been 4 more years, and there's still they're not about Final Destination 6. So if and when it comes out, whoever's been working on it, and I'll bet the writers of Part 5 have at least been thinking about it and jotting down notes since before Part 5 came out. They've probably had a lot of time to think about it.
Right.
They just need to add some three-toed sloths, and everything's going to be over for them.
What if it was like a group of three-toed sloths that like had to avoid the Final Destination? Like they were the group. The whole
three-toed
movie.
sloths, like, they never sleep, and they always just hang up in trees. So I think they could. I think Def would be so frustrated trying to kill them that it would just give up.
That would be the whole movie. Def trying to kill a three-toed sloth, but the sloths somehow managed to kind of like get away at the end.
Oh yeah,
Even though they're
every
so
time.
slow. It's like
I think it would end with like the Death being frustrated, and like then the sloth is behind him, and sloth kills Death.
yeah. Hey, there we go. That's a great way to end the franchise.
What do you think, Levin? Good?
I can just imagine, like, Death is like, okay, that sloth is about to go eat, I don't know, a banana or something, right? And like, he's like, it's going to choke on that banana. It's going to take a bite that's too big and it's going to choke on it. So it takes this super slow sloth bite, like, and it's sitting there and it's doing the slowest chews in the history of chewing. It's chewing so slowly that it's practically digesting in its mouth before it swallows it. Like watching like a grandmother chew 40 times before swallowing rice or something. And so like Death just gets impatient. He's like, screw this, I'm out.
Yeah, and like everything's based on timing in the Final Destination world, and you can't predict the sloth's movement. So
It's like I think he's going to move now, but I'm not sure. Oh, he
did it
just
just
moved.
move? Wait, did it just move?
I don't know.
So yeah, I think it'll be they'll make them until they do one with the sloth, and then it's the Final Destination.
That's when you know it's over. Oh, they're bringing in the sloths. The fat
Yeah.
lady is singing.
The closer.
Yeah.
And Kira Sedgwick is a character in it.
All right. Well, I think that's another fine listener question that's been slightly answered, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Demon Scribblers and Gray Hours, for our questions.
All right. Mark, I think we have to go to the second part of your list, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, Jaws, Doctor Strangelove, Royal Tenenbaums, and Hot Fuzz.
Right.
Those are my 4 films. Now, the scene I added here is the granny face kick in Hot Fuzz. So Hot Fuzz is one of my favorite films. And the end shootout is one of the most gleefully fun, exuberant, all-out, hilarious scene. But there's a scene where Nicholas Angel, Simon Pegg's coming back into town. And he gets ambushed by this old woman with a shotgun. And so she shoots two shots, and she misses. And Simon Pegg just runs at her as fast as she can. While she's reloading, Simon Pegg jumps in the air and just jump kicks this 90-year-old woman right in the face. Right in the face. And then the next scene is her tied up to a fence post with a bloody nose. And it's just the funniest, most random, like a priest gets shot, and I think the priest is like, oh, Jesus. And I love it's one of the good old actually Timothy Dalton is awesome in this movie. He's actually like really good in this film. He gets stabbed through the mouth by a miniature church steeple, But I love this beat because when I was in the theater, I couldn't stop laughing. This old lady just got jump kicked in the face.
I've always wondered if that was the first scene Edgar Wright thought of. It's like just some guy jump kicking a granny in the face. It's like, oh man, that's a great scene. I need to figure out a movie that could fit this scene.
Again, just like the Transporter, and it's a drop kick in a trailer moment, just like the Transporter. And I gotta say, way back when we started talking about Chris Evans and Snowpiercer and fish that are dipped or axes that are dipped in fish blood, and me drop kicking the people if they do it in front of me, I think that Mark has been infected with the love of drop kicks, because we are just it is raining drop kicks in this podcast right now.
The Brewskis, our band, we used to have that song High Kick City, but I'm gonna write one called Drop Kick City.
Okay.
Drop Kick City.
It's really such a fun thing to watch. Someone drop kicking another person.
Yeah.
Like a drop kick isn't something you can't half-ass. Like you have to put 110% in the drop kick.
No, you're right. You can't half-ass a drop kick.
Yeah, it's like you either do it or you don't, and it's glorious. Where it doesn't matter whether or not you connect, because every time you do a drop kick, the results are always glorious.
I wish that would have been my senior high school quote.
Yeah.
You can't half-ass a drop kick.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of dropping and getting blown up by rocket launchers, that was a terrible segue. But the next movie is Punisher Warzone, and it's when the free runner meets a grenade. Now, Punisher Warzone, I think I love more because of the backstory. And if you ever listen to How Did This Get Made, the director, Lexi Alexander, she does a really great podcast with them. And she directed Green Street Hooligans, and she went and did this Punisher Warzone. And she made it one of the most violent, R-rated, weird films. And she initially had these free runners in the film, and the studio was like, get rid of the free runners. So like any great director, they have a scene where a free runner is doing a jump across a roof, and a grenade launcher comes out of nowhere and blows him up. Like, he's just jumping, and then, like, you watch the clip on the website. He's doing a flip, and then he just gets blown up by... That was her way, like, the studio's like, get rid of the free runners, and she gets rid of them by blowing them up. Like, that's perfect.
All I have to say about this is approved.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that classic scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones just shoots the sword fighter. Well, I think this is just like a modern day take on that.
Yeah.
Like some guy is just has athletic prowess, but the Punisher just whips out his grenade launcher. Like that's it.
And the Punisher in this movie is not the most limber.
No.
So I don't know. I love it. I love the backstory. I love that. I think I'm always talking about how grenade launchers and rocket launchers are underused in cinema, and this is a perfect example of when they work. And so the film, it's tough and it's violent and it's gory and it's weird but I don't know. I love it. I think it's just a bonkers R-rated blood fest.
So along our timeline, I think Hot Fuzz was around 2007. Is that right? And this Punisher Warzone, is that about 2008 as we're creeping up to present day?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2009 Punisher Warzone.
Okay.
I just want to give the viewers a listen. I have a 102.4 temperature right now, so if my math gets a little fuzzy, guys, I'm just a ball of sweat right now talking about action movies, so it's keeping me going. So if my math gets a little wonky, I blame it on Levingood.
Plus or minus 1 year.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 1 year. All right.
And so, it's Punisher Warzone. So the next one is, I think it's one of my favorite films, and I think it has one of the most tense scenes of cinema, and it's Inglourious Bastards, the scene where they're in the basement, which is a terrible idea, and they're talking to this really smart German officer, and it's Diane Kruger, Michael Fassbender, Hugo Stiglitz, and they're playing this card game. And so it's, undercover guys pretending to be German, and then you have actual Germans, in World War II era. And there's this scene where Michael Fassbender makes a mistake at putting up the wrong number 3. So if you put your pinky and thumb down, and you just did your 3 middle fingers, that's the one he did. And that's the wrong way that Germans don't do 3 like that. So what follows is this crazy, immediate, bonkers, everyone dies gunfight. And it's just one of the most tense action moments I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, Inglourious Bastards. That had me grinding my teeth a lot, that movie. Christoph Waltz is just good at making people nervous.
Oh,
He smokes the greatest pipe in the history of the world. And
that's the
Inglourious Basterds.
opening scene of Inglourious Bastards when Christoph Waltz's character interrogates that man in his house, and the whole time you knew Christoph Waltz, like, he knew what he was doing, like, he knew what was going on, but he was still kind of going through the motions because he just wanted to fuck with that guy, and everybody in the audience knew it.
Yeah, and it's just so perfect. And when Tarantino's firing all cylinders, it's just pure gold. And I love this scene though because like Hugo Stiglitz was established as this really badass character, and he just gets wiped out in this scene, and it's just such a wild card. And you almost have like a breath of fresh air. You're like, oh, I think they did it, and then Fassbender does the wrong 3, and then everyone dies. Like it's just such a roller coaster of tense. You know, it was just so. I don't know. I love it. I love the violence. I love the scene. I think it's really well written, acted. Yeah, so that's yeah.
I love the plot twist at the end.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
It's
I don't know. It's just a great fictional war film. And my next one is Hannah, and it's called One. I call it One Shot, 100 Face Punches. And so I work in production, and sometimes just getting a 10-second clip can take hours. So this scene was about 2 minutes and 30. Like it's almost like a 3-minute, one-take fight scene. So it's Eric Bana. He's the father of Hannah, and he's walking through this kind of train depot. And so he's just walking through. And eventually, which is amazing because it's Steadicam keeping up with him. So you have to do all the extras, all the background, all the cars. Then he gets into this parking garage where these guys attack him. And it's just great one-shot fight scene where Eric Bana is just wiping people out. And it's efficient, it's smart, and it just shows that Joe Wright is the best at getting one-shot action scenes.
This is another one where I just say approved. I was completely enamored with this movie from the emotional, tender, kind of childlike fairy tale coming of age side, and then all the violence as well. Even with the young girl doing the violence, and Eric Bana, when he's teaching her this scene, it's all just it's very effective.
Yeah, but it's just one take. Like the amount of extras and coordination and choreography. And it's just like you have to have everything perfect. And I don't know, that's why I love it. And I feel like, there may be more exciting scenes, but just watching that is just so exciting and from a filmmaking standpoint. And I just love the choreography. I think Eric Bana, we were talking about this earlier, I think he should be a bigger action star. I don't know, I think he can pull off like the grown man type vibe. And he used that to full effect here in Hannah. So
I feel like Eric Bana is just really underused these days. Like, he just sits around waiting for, like, a call, and I feel really bad, because he's a great actor.
The last movie he did was that stupid exorcism movie where they had him in, like, form-fitting T-shirts and gave him a
Deliver Us from Evil.
Oh, yuck. And so
we had a good talk about that back in episode 4.
Yeah, listen to it. And no, I just think, like, in Lone Survivor, he's good, he's a leader. Like, I could picture him like an Aliens or a Predator just kind of doing man stuff, and you believe it. Like, if he killed an alien with like a machete, I'd be like, I buy it. Like he's one of those rare guys, but I guess they just haven't used him like that. So, and then the next one that I have is Haywire, and Gina Carano's acting left a lot to be desired, and but that really wasn't the point of me going to watch it. I just loved, she was a former MMA fighter, and this is the film Haywire, and it's just basically her beating up Fassbender, Channing Tatum, Ewan McGregor. A whole lot of thugs, and with really efficient and cool fight scenes. But the one I love the most is when Channing Tatum comes into this small diner, because Channing Tatum comes in, he's all hungover. I don't know if he is or not, but he said he drove through the night, he's hungover, and he takes this coffee mug and smashes it on Gina Carano's face. And then this cool fight scene breaks out where he's obviously stronger, but with like her jujitsu and her moves, and then some help from the patrons, she wins the fight. But I just think it doesn't resort to choppy editing, and I love that about it. I think they just put, like, what I love about Haywire is Soderbergh puts a camera somewhere and he just lets people fight, and I love that. And I just think it's like it's visceral, it's fast, it's unexpected, and I think it gave the world a really cool action hero with Gina Carano.
So, disclaimer: I love this fight too, but this is the only fight that I did not find credible in the whole movie.
Huh.
The first, because Channing Tatum gets the first 3 hits, and the small hit is breaking a glass coffee pot over her head. He got in 3 good hits before she got anything, and I don't know. So because of that, I didn't buy it. Now, if you skip that, I buy the fight. But if you give me that in the beginning, I don't care how tough she is, I don't buy the fight.
Put it on record, John. Write it down. Throw it on the floor.
Oh, I'm writing it.
I don't buy
I'm
it.
writing it.
That's right. I don't buy it.
I'm trying to
No,
find
John-
space on the floor right now.
Again, I do love the fight. It's super fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where she came back from a daze so fast that it made me think of like WrestleMania 4 when Hulk Hogan is like in a headlock and he's like waving his hand up at the audience, and if they yell loud enough, all of a sudden he breaks out of the headlock. Like it just didn't. It was just like a magical recovery to me.
Yeah.
I just love though that I just love that those opening shots happen because you didn't see it coming. You're just like they're having a little talk about him being hungover, then bam, 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 and you're like, what? Like
super exciting. And I have a minor bro crush on Channing Tatum anyway. Super fun seeing him on the screen. Nice.
I don't know. I just like that. Like the coffee, the cafe patrons jumped in. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it worked, and I don't know. I like when movies actually just put a camera somewhere and let a fight happen.
So the question
It was
is,
a badass fight.
would Gina Carano beat this Channing Tatum? But would Gina Carano beat the Channing Tatum from the Jump Street movies?
Oh yeah.
Like, how would that fight go down?
Oh man, he would get his arm ripped off.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think they become buds.
Yeah.
Would Gina Carano beat the elf-eared half-wolf Jupiter Rising Channing Tatum?
Oh my
I hope
gosh.
so. I hope so.
Wait,
What
does
about-
he have the roller skating boots?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can just imagine Gina Carano like beating that Channing Tatum and just taking like his jetpack boots and just flying off. Like, yeah.
I can't answer technical questions about this fight because I'm a little too like disturbed by the fact that I could make a reference to an elf-eared half-wolf Channing Tatum, and it's a real reference.
No, I feel like the Channing Tatum that could give Gina Carano the most resistance would be the Channing Tatum from Foxcatcher, where he was a wrestler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be a great fight, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be a great
man.
fight.
That'd be like jiu-jitsu versus wrestling. That'd be like Ken Shamrock versus Hoist Gracie, UFC 1.
Yeah. So
But I
they
still
picked the
think-
wrong
I
Channing
think-
Tatum.
I think Tatum would take her to the ground, but I think she'd submit him.
Yeah,
because he
most
wouldn't know
likely.
how to strike.
Yeah. And then he would just like give up on fighting and become a stripper, a la Magic Mike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so he goes from professional wrestler to stripper?
Yeah. You know, I guess that's the natural progression.
Does he have like dance moves like the single leg, the double leg?
Yeah. And he flies off in the little jetpack boots at the end of the show.
That'd be a great gag for a stripper, I guess. Boots. All right, so then we have the next one is the Fast Five, the Furious Cliff Fall. All right, so this scene is basically they're robbing Vin and Dom, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are robbing expensive cars from a train. It all goes wrong, and it ends up with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel driving off a cliff and probably falling 200 yards into the water. But what I love about this scene is, not only did Fast Five really ramp up the fast world, but I just love the scene because of how chill Vin and Paul Walker look. Like they're driving off this thing at 100 miles per hour. They car surf and then they jump off and land perfectly in the water. Like, no, I just love that moment. I think it's perfect.
Is this the movie in the franchise that set off the every single movie we have to have flying cars rule? Because I know in 6 and 7 they're parachuting cars. Like there's always flying cars now. Did it start in Part 5?
Yeah, I think so. And like, I think it started the car flying craze.
It's got to be bigger and better. They got to fall. It's got to be a more dangerous scenario where you're dropping a car from a greater height, and it's like.
Yeah, I mean, they really can't drop them from farther unless they go to space now. Because unless they do like a space car. But no, I just love this scene. I think it's a great trailer moment, of course. But no, I don't know. I love it. I love that they just kind of chill, like jump off of it. Like these guys don't look that stressed about it at all. And for some reason, I love the Fast series, and I just love that scene.
I love the fact that you have 2 Fast and Furious moments on your list.
Dude,
Like, I love that.
I would have added more, but
Yeah.
Can we add this is also The Rock again in our list?
Yeah, he's featuring in a lot of films here. But no, I don't know. I like this scene. I think it made for a great trailer moment. I think it, like, when you talk about Fast Five, I think there's a few moments that come to mind, and this is definitely one of them. And no, I thought it was good. I liked how they got there. I liked, how they got from the train. Then Paul Walker's on a burning vehicle. Then he jumps onto the back of his car. Then they drive off. I don't know. I just think it's a glorious, glorious scene.
That movie was littered with great scenes. I mean, the safe dragging scene was bonkers ridiculous, but that was super fun. And then the fight with The Rock and Vin Diesel. Like, this movie is loaded with, like, action scenes that I want to talk about for the next 10 years.
But listen to our Fast and Furious pod, and we talk about them for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. So the next one is from this is going to be kind of random. Levin Good brought it up earlier when he talked about The Last Stand, but there's a scene in the movie The Last Stand where Johnny Knoxville, who I don't know, I'm a fan of, I don't care. And so he's in a bus, he's outnumbered, he's getting shot at, he's making a last stand with Arnold, and so he runs out of bullets, right? And he pulls out this flare gun, and this mercenary has ran out of bullets, and he sees Johnny Knoxville pulling out a flare gun. So the mercenary starts running away. Johnny Knoxville shoots the flare gun. It sticks in the back of this guy's like gun, I don't know, bullet holster, and it sticks in there. And then the guy just blows up in like 20 different pieces.
Now I'm actually a little confused, Mark, because this movie had a scene which is almost like a theme that we've had, and that's action heroes breaking through doors. Because why not the scene where old Arnold Schwarzenegger, breaks through the diner's glass door? And it was a trailer moment, too, because they're like, how you doing, Sheriff? How you feeling? Old.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I love that scene, but this is going to sound weird, but from Jackass and I don't know, I'm just like a big Johnny Knoxville fan. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a funny dude. And I just liked his character because he was out of his league. He supplied everyone with guns. It was a good setup. And, he had that whole gun shop. So he said it was a museum one time a year for a half hour. And I just love that. I don't know. And I didn't expect him to pull out a flare gun and blow up a highly trained mercenary. Like, that's not something you're going to, like I think it's easily one of the best usages of a flare gun I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, for me, the best scene had to be Arnold Schwarzenegger against that little drug lord doing MMA. And, like, you have the big guy who isn't really good at hand-to-hand combat and the little guy who's great at it, but they're both tough in their own ways. And Arnold pulls, like, a credible victory out of that, like, as an old tough dude. I really appreciated that. But, yeah, this was a fun movie. And, Johnny Knoxville, sometimes I find him annoying. In this, I really liked him.
Yeah, I mean, he fit if you think about movies like The Seven Samurai, there's always kind of like the imbecile or like 13 Assassins. In these movies, there's always like the kind of wild card, not all there guy that stays around to the very end. And so he kind of fits in a long lineage of like Last Stand, Seven Samurai, 13 Assassins. And I like
even the Cabin in the Woods had the pool.
Yeah, and I like that callback, and I like that tradition, and I don't know, man, I love it. I love that he the dude blows up a guy with a flare gun. Come on, y'all. Like, I don't know. I think you got to be pretty cynical and hate action. Like, I get why you don't like The Last Stand, but I think I like the director. I like the theme, and I like flare guns.
Nice.
Yeah. and where are we now, Mark? Is that about 2013?
Yeah,
Fast 5 was 2012. I'm trying to follow our timeline.
Yep. And so now we're up to 2014. This is the last of them. And this is the Raid 2. This is the Bathroom Brawl. I'm going to, I didn't want to do 2016 yet because, or 2015 yet because I haven't seen every action film. So
I was about to say, have you seen any movies from 2016 yet? Because that would be amazing.
Well, the Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
I went into John Levingood's lab for future movie studies. And like Spaceballs, I did that. But so 2014 is going to end with the Raid 2. So you've probably been wondering where the Raid is. And I think the Raid is probably the best action film in the last 10 years. I really do. However, there's a scene in the Raid 2 where there's this bathroom brawl where it's like 30 inmates and they're fighting Iko Uwais in this little dirty bathroom. And I felt bad for the inmates. Like, they are just getting beat up by this, like, whirling dervish. And he is just, like, he's like, it's like there's a, remember the first Jurassic Park where there's a raptor who sucks the guy in and everyone's like, no! Like, Eco's in this bathroom stall and he like sucks this guy in there and you're like, that guy's gonna die. Like, you feel bad for these 30 hardened prison members who are just gonna get the living snot beat out of them by one man. And I think that's really effective. And I don't know, I like the Raid more than I like the Raid 2, but I love this scene.
Okay, I'm going to pull a tangent city here. I didn't see this movie, but I love Iko Uwais so much. I love his other work. And last episode, we were talking about The Rock and the remake of Big Trouble in Little China. And you made a reference to The Rock playing second fiddle to the hero character, and you said, let Iko Uwais tear it up. And I didn't ask then, did you ever hear anything about Iko Uwais being rumored, or were you picking a favorite to be in that role?
I was picking a favorite.
Okay, all right. Because at the time, I'm totally not talking about the Raid Part 2 right now, but that's the first thing that came in my head. So I haven't seen the Raid Part 2. How does it compare to the Raid 1 in intensity?
All right, so the first Raid, I'll kind of break it down. It's about this elite crew who have to fight their way to the top of this apartment complex. They're locked in.
Basically Dread.
Yeah, yeah. So, or people would say basically the Raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So, like, there's urgency because they can't stop. They're against these deadly guys. There's, like, the Raid works because it's incredibly violent, and there's so much urgency to it, you can't stop. So they're always moving. So there's always tension. The Raid 2 is, a 2.5 hour long action bonanza. That features less urgency and it focuses more on individual fight scenes. So Iko Uwais fights Hammer Girl, baseball bat guy, the final boss. He has to kind of work his way up through a crime syndicate. So it's kind of like Donnie Brasco meets the Raid, and I loved it. I love the fight scenes. I feel like it was almost packed with too much awesomeness. That's a thing, but I don't know. I missed the urgency of the first one. The first one was just so fast, so crazy, you couldn't stop. And that's what I love about certain action films. So that's why I like The Raid more. But I love this scene because I just think it's hilarious. Like, it's like this picture on the website. It looks like a poop monster's eating this guy. Like, I feel bad for whoever's going in this stall with Iko Uwais because they're going to end up really hurt. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Nice.
That's cool. I got to catch that movie. Yeah, it's good you didn't get into 2015 because it's like the more recent you get, the fewer of our listeners will have gotten to see everything.
Yeah, and so I just love. I think Iko Uwais is an amazing physical presence, and I think he has less of an ego than Tony Jaa does, and so I don't know. I like it. I think. No, I don't know. I heard he and the Raid crew are gonna have scenes in the new Star Wars.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
wow.
They'll probably play like Jedis or something, but or like Sith or something like that. But no, I just love this bathroom fight in the Raid 2.
That just doesn't seem fair, giving them lightsabers, right? Or something like.
I would be depressed. Like, hey, it's Iko Uwais, I'm dead. Oh, hey, it's Iko Uwais with a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, he's also got Jedi powers. So yeah, good
You're
luck.
dead the moment you see him.
Yeah.
Here's a slingshot.
Right.
Was that on Austin Powers? And when Michael Caine's like, just lay down. Just lay down.
Yeah. All right, so we've gone from Gladiator to Raid 2. I'd say that's a pretty good list. There was lots of Fast and Furious moments sprinkled on there. A lot of The Rock cameos. A lot of door busting going on.
Lots of door busting and drop kicks.
We here at MFF bring the random, guys.
So the past decade of action movies, according to Mark, has been pretty eclectic.
Yeah,
coming on like gangbusters with the eclectic.
But that's good though, right? We got jump kicks, we got one take scenes, we got grenade launchers, we got old ladies getting kicked in the face, we have door destruction. I mean, you can't beat it. We have this line: you still fight like shit, bro.
Yeah.
We have a McNugget. You can't beat it.
I think we can all agree that if you're an action movie fan, you haven't been bored for the past decade. There's always something interesting to watch.
For sure.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, before we sign off, I think it's time to do some plugs real quick, right?
Movies, films, and flicks.com.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, don't forget,
SharkDropper.com.
you can listen to us on OneCast or you can download us on iTunes. Please listen, download, rate, review.
Yeah,
we can use your help.
We love our audience. We love, send us in questions. We'd love to get ratings, reviews on iTunes, guys. And we're dedicated to this, and we're looking forward to bringing you guys more stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we're not getting enough listener questions, by the way. Really, do send us your silly, bonkers questions that you thought up when you were drunk last night. We want to hear your ridiculous questions.
Yeah. Yeah, remember, the more ridiculous the question, the more ridiculous the answer is going to be. So,
I mean, critters versus ghoulies, that's tame, folks. Yeah. I want the crazy questions.
Right. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass.
You just like Mark's like, ow, and then he turns around and there's like this furry orb that's the size of a bowling ball hanging from his left butt cheek because it's a critter that bit him like Pac-Man. It's just hanging there.
I have a couple of needles shot in my back this whole time, so
all right, guys.
And there's a scene where they shoot a dude in the butt.
I gotta get my ghoulie out. I gotta do a little seance to bring my ghoulie out.
All right. Well, before Mark passes out from his fever, what's your temperature at right now, Mark? Like
like 102.4 last time I checked.
Oh wow, you're at death's door right now. Yeah, if you guys could see Mark right now, he's just like sweating up a storm, and like I think he's at death's door right now. So
I'm dedicated, guys.
This might be the last podcast that Mark is on. So Mark, say goodbye to everyone.
So guys, before I die, I just want to tell you a story about this time I was this Elvis impersonator, and a guy who looked a lot like Kevin Costner betrayed me, and I met a lady who looked a lot like Courtney Cox from Friends, who has a kid, and I kind of learned that life is worth living.
Oh, okay.
Was there a guy who looked a lot like Christian Slater who tried to talk you out of the whole thing?
Yep. So who knows, guys? I might make it through this. I might start robbing banks. Who knows?
We'll see. John Lemongood.
I'll just bid good night to you folks, and do please heckle us on our website, on Twitter, or on Facebook. Movies, Films, and Flicks with an X.
And I've been your host, John Laswell, who had that one really good segue earlier.
Claim to fame right there.
I'll probably never be able to top it. It's probably all downhill from here. But, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys later.
Good night.
Above the target. T-minus 5 seconds till shark drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the shark. Go, go, go! This podcast is a Shark Dropper Studios production.